any spiritual gift. So, okay. So anything that I find it benefit, I want to share with you. Maybe this is something, this is what it means. Yeah, I think this is something that that is really, that with my, I remember this is really, struck me so hard. And actually, I've been sharing with people. And that's when my mother passed away. And after, when she passed away, after I think a few months, occasionally when I think of her, I still grieve, So then until one day, suddenly I just stopped and I just reflect. I said, why, why I'm always looking at, I have lost her. Why don't I look at it that I have this person in my life? And then actually the moment when I just change, that, yeah, then why don't I look at it that, look at that as that I have this person in my life. And then I started to reflect on my mother's good quality. Oh, she's very kind, compassionate, and is a good mother, and all the good qualities, very humble, and then very caring, like she always, like one of the things she always taught me is that, if you want to give something to others, make sure you give the best to others. She said that something that you don't want, make sure you don't give, think that, but because you give it to others, that they are not rubbish bin, isn't it? You chuck it to them. But he said, make sure you give something good, not something that is like, or you don't want it, And then when I started to reflect on her good qualities, actually I have so much joy and happiness, and I feel like I was so blessed. I was thinking, wow, my goodness, I'm so grateful, and I feel so blessed that I have this person in my life. I must have done lots of good karma to deserve this person in my life. And then since then, when I have that realization, why don't I look at it the other way around? Actually, since after that, whenever I think of my mother, actually I'm full of joy. I'm quite happy when I think of her. So each time I think of her, I have so much joy and gratitude. I'm happy, I feel happy about that. And then also, actually, that also helped me a lot. Like, whenever, lots of things that, I always learn to turn around to look at it in a positive way. That's also helped me because I have this experience, I remember when I share with one of our supporters, he said, oh, I would love that if I pass away, my children remember me with joy, with happiness. And I always, I never feel sad now. Since then, before that, from time to time, I think of her, that time, that when she first passed away, the first few months, sometimes I have that sadness, like grief, I've lost this person. But then the moment when, one day I just have that realization, sometimes it just comes to my mind, hey, why don't I look at it why don't I look at it that I have this person, that I feel so blessed, I was so grateful, full of gratitude, I was thinking, my goodness, I'm really must have done lots of good karma, in order to deserve this person in my life, And I'm full of joy and happiness and all the good qualities. And that's why I remember last time we have one of our supporters. So what one of her friends told her, she told me that, her friend told her that, you should work hard, save more money, you should buy a house. Next time your son grow up, then, at least you leave a property, a house or for your son. I said, if your son next time grown up, he need to have a house, he should buy himself, he earn for it, isn't it? I said, why you have to, Then I said, the best inheritance is not how much money you leave behind, how much, material things you leave behind. I said, you teach him to be a kind person, to be a nice person, to develop those good quality, and that is the best inheritance you can give, isn't it? It's not how much, because all the material things you can't take with you, when we die, everything we have to leave behind, even how much money, we have accumulated, how much, material things, we have to let it go, we can't take with us. So I said, that is the best inheritance you can give, you leave behind, teach them to be a good person, how to be kind, how to be generous, how to be someone always compassionate. And then if your son with this, like all these positive qualities, actually no one can take away, isn't it? It stays with you. Like material things, you never know, bushfire come, you lose everything. 3 years ago, we have a bushfire near the monastery, we evacuated the Walulu. And the one family, they were so happy, at last they got the dream house. They just moved in 3 months only. The bushfire gone. Really, they're so sad because they put in, they save so much money and they put in so much effort to build the dream house, the house that they wanted to be, and then very happily just move in 3 months. The bushfire come, nothing left, quite bad. And we are lucky that we didn't get affected because it's quite close actually. We evacuated, it's quite close. Actually the fire hit just 200 meters from our fence line, border line, our border, the fence line. But then it's a hit and then the wind changed, it go again. It go like this and go away. And then we untouched our monastery, it's good, we are safe. Then we be away for a week, and then we went back. And you see, like sometimes natural disasters you cannot control, isn't it? When it just come, some people just, overnight, they lost everything, isn't it? And material things you can, but then all the good qualities, all the inner qualities, that one, no one can take away. When we die also, this is something we can take with us, isn't it? All the inner good qualities we can take with us to the next life. But all the material things we can't, I find it's very good to always change it the way you look at it. And then actually, little by little, becomes like a habit. You always look for something good in the other person. And actually, you're not so easily get angry. When even someone nasty, you also can see someone, good qualities in that person. And then you don't even, of course, the moment you hear something is not pleasing to the ears, of course, you're not happy. But then we normally, how come this person, is not very nice person, to set things like that. But then we not continue because it's okay when there is a contact. Feeling arises, but then if you're aware of that, these feelings, that is unpleasant feelings, but very easily, if we are not mindful, when it's unpleasant, we already very quickly, our underlying tendency, it will be triggered, and then we always like, we don't like it, and then we go on and on and on, But then, yes, it's unpleasant, but it's okay, it's okay. But then we so that we don't keep going, to thinking about how bad the person, then you think of some of the good qualities of that person. Then actually, the moment you think of the good qualities, I always, whatever other people have done, even that they've been nasty or they've been rude, I always remind myself that, I always thank the person. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to practice forgiveness and kindness. And actually sometimes we learn more, isn't it? We grow, isn't it? We grow more, especially with people giving you hard time. You learn to let go, you learn to forgive, isn't it? And that's why Ajahn Chah said, this is all your Ajahn, all your teacher. And the mosquito bit you, got upset, then the mosquito is Ajahn. So mosquito, Ajahn mosquito. When I thought Ajahn mosquito, when I see bird here, I also no, it's good to share, You know why I call her Ajahn bird. One day she texts me, she said, call me Ajahn. Okay, then I was thinking, I just scratching my head. Why she asked me to call her Ajahn? Okay, never mind. Being very obedient. So, very obedient. So I give her a voice message. I said, hello, Ajahn Bờ. And then she said, you give me a call. Actually, what she means, she asked me to give her a call. But the way she put it, no full stop, call me Ajahn. Of course, of course I call her Ajahn, because she said, oh, please call me apostrophe, comma, you got a comma, Ajahn. Then I know that, call her. But she said, call me Ajahn. Then I call her Ajahn. Yeah, this is sometimes the people around us say, oh, our Ajahn, isn't it? And actually we learn more. And sometimes I know that people like to associate with people that that can get along. But the problem is, if the people that you like is sometimes, most probably, that the person sometimes, you may have the same defilements. If both of you having the same defilements together, you reinforce each other defilements, isn't it? I confirm that you are right, you confirm that I'm right, That's why for us, for example, like for us as a like bhikkhuni, we cannot confess to another person have the same offense, because then you cover up for each other. So we can, this is how, this is the rules that we can't confess to someone that having the same offense. So you have to confess to another person. So same offense you cannot confess. So this is sometimes we learn a lot, Sometimes actually they really teach us a great lesson, when people giving us hard time, and we develop, the kindness, compassion, and forgive, Good. I thank you, Bờ, for here. I can share your story. Then since then, from time to time, we see her, we call her Ajahn Bờ. And not a question, just a reminder for yogis, do not bring the water bottles into the meditation hall, and not to open lollies here. It's very distracting, okay? So no lollies, no water bottles. So, what is your role here and responsibility here? Respectfully, why do you need an assistant? Excuse. Okay. So, my ignorance. Okay. Actually, we just have a part of the training, because she's still seminary. Part of the training that you learn how to respect someone is more senior, look after your teachers. That is part of the job. They're learning how to look after the teacher, and respectful to the teacher. And and most of the time I actually physically, at the beginning I really do not think that I need that. I said, I can do everything myself, But then sometimes it's also out of kindness, Sometimes out of ego, you think that, I'm still strong, I'm so okay. I'm not handicapped, I don't have to be looked after. But then sometimes, for me, I allow other people to look after me. It's just like being kind, giving others the opportunities to be able to serve. I remember there was a lady. She's in her late 80s, She has this very strong personality, and she used to be very independent, very capable. And then, and she told me that one of the things she told me that I really hated it so much, because my grandchildren, they all like to hold my hand, and then I'm okay, I can do it, I can walk. And I said to her, actually, You just giving that they just want to serve you as a grandchildren. So why don't you give them the opportunity to serve you? It's out of kindness. It's not that I can do it, Yeah, I no need to. You no need to hold my hand, But then I said you give them the opportunity to serve you, That is also it's out of kindness, But you can see, not only me, you see some, if you go to Thailand or, even Bodhiyana also the same. They're like Ajahn Ram, we call it, he has an assistant, we all, like the teacher, then this is how to look after the teacher. So it's part of the training. Okay. Instead of sense desires, I experience lots of sense aversion to daily life, particularly to sound and physical touch. It has been so peaceful on retreat not to be hindered by this. But do you have any guidance on how to handle sense aversions when retreat is finished? Okay. Actually, you practice more start to send loving kindness. When you have the aversion, so especially to the sound, to the people, you say loving kindness, that is, to the sound, it's okay, this is, I love, even though yes, you're a bit annoying, but I still love you, no matter who you are, I still love you. It's because sometimes because of this aversion is also when someone don't have. If someone have lots of loving kindness, you less angry, you less easily get upset, get angry, and that is also is helpful. So to more loving kindness and loving kindness towards to the sound, and it's okay, even because sometimes when we so it's also part of the attached to everything. Peace and calm. It's actually, the aversion is also come from our strong desires, because we want something to be really our way, everything peaceful, no sound, but it's not always the case when you're outside, and for me, before I become a nun, when I was a lay person, I tried to find time, try to find place to meditate, just that's why it's learned to come to a place of acceptance, accepting that what is going on here, and to send more loving kindness towards to the situation, towards to the people. It's okay, even though it's a bit noisy, That's why, like, other qualities is also important, to develop qualities like gratitude and contentment. Yes, even a little, not as peaceful, but it's good enough. It's more from It's more from the desires, that the sense of self. You want something. I want to be peaceful. I want to be quiet. Then because it's not quiet, it's not peaceful, then we have aversion. So not getting what we want. This is basically, And this is also, train to be more accepting the situation, accepting, It takes time to train yourself. You just train yourself, little by little, accept, little by little, and develop more loving kindness. So you have lots of loving kindness, if you have lots of metta, actually, naturally you have less aversion, because metta is counteract, the loving kindness is counteract of ill will, and also because of it, especially if we keep reinforcing it, it becomes stronger and stronger. So develop more metta and do some metta meditation is also good. That's how maybe you can make sure every day, you do some metta meditation, send loving kindness to the sound. So it's okay, even though it's noisy, I still love you. No matter who you are, I still love you. And actually, it softens your heart a lot. It softens. I know people have chemo, going through chemo. And this person did lots of loving kindness. And before she going through the treatment, she sent loving kindness to her body. She send loving, because when you send loving kindness to your body, you become, because loving kindness is opposite of aversion. That is rejection. Aversion is rejection. That is acceptance. Actually, loving kindness, you're accepting it's okay. Whatever treatment come to me, then her body really this person's so good. She had no side effect after the chemo because of she was like, when you have loving kindness, you open up yourself. It's okay. Then the medication really go well with her body, and then when she was undergoing the chemo, she also sent lots of loving kindness to the nurse, to the doctor, and then after the treatment, she told me that she was really, many people they normally they have this reaction, isn't it? They feel very sick. She's just normal. She told me she's just normal. She had no reaction whatsoever. But she sent so much loving kindness. Before she go through the chemo, she do lots of loving kindness meditation. She sent to her body, like accepting the body is okay, send loving kindness to the body. And then after that, when she go through the treatment, she also send loving kindness to the doctor, to the nurse, and also to the body. And then she said after her treatment, she had no reaction at all. She's just normal. She just eat, very good appetite. I have two supporters is like that. When they share with me, they said that they did lots of loving kindness meditation. They sent to the body before and after her treatment. And then two of them also did the same thing, and then they have no reaction. Because sometimes when you have aversion, if you don't like it, actually your body tends to reject. You reject. So the medication will not go well with your body. So they say sometimes when you have loving kindness, that means you open up yourself. You're welcome. You're welcome to come in. You're allowed. You open the door of your heart. To everyone come into your heart. You open up yourself. The same thing. Then the medication will really go well with the body. Okay. Okay. Vipassana or Samatha meditation. Is it advisable to go for Vipassana retreat? So the so-called Vipassana retreat, it's just like, this insight is like, actually even Samatha, even with stillness, you also need insight. Because you have to have the understanding. If not, your mind constantly will get, controlled by your thoughts, controlled by your emotion, that is also need insight. So that's why sometimes like Vipassana or Samatha meditation, because I also last time start with that, and because sometimes people find it, I don't know I'm normally, I started off with the Mahasi method, with just noting. And I find it, yes, at the beginning is useful, because when you start to meditate, it's quite difficult to just observe, isn't it? But then the noting is a help. But eventually, I have to drop noting and just like silent, present moment awareness, just to observe. I personally, to me, it doesn't matter what is Samatha. Actually, I don't know why, it's two sides of a coin, Even Samatha, you need insight. They said that, like the Buddha said, no jhana without insight, no insight without jhana. So they said you have to have a small insight to accomplish big insight. So you have a little, you have the little understanding. So yeah. So actually you do have some insight in order that your mind to become peaceful and calm. I know, like Koenga also, they call that Vipassana, isn't it? They also call insight meditation, isn't it? And then they also use breathing. They also do breath meditation, mindfulness on breath. Thank you for your lively and encouraging teaching. Do you mind sharing how you felt and what challenges you may encounter. Being one of the first 4 nuns ordained under Thai Theravada tradition, are the challenges over, or do they still impact the nuns under the traditions? It's okay if you rather not answer. Thanks. Okay. So that since you said I can rather not answer, then I'm not going to answer. Because I have a choice. You say, okay, if you rather not answer, it's fine. It's okay. I think we are okay because we're in Perth and we have lots of support, especially our supporters here. So I must say we are very fortunate. We have so much support, and like for us, we are one of the biggest community in the Theravada tradition, and are well supported. And we have our own system. We are independent. We are not dependent on monks, And some other places they are not independent. They always have to depend on monks, to get support. So we don't. We are very fortunate that especially in Perth here, our support is very good. Our lay supporters are very supportive of us. Couldn't be better. So we don't have that. Maybe at the beginning, but actually we are not rather, we are quite, actually now we are not really Thai traditions, we are more like Australian tradition. We do, like for example, like evening we have 2 chanting, Wednesday and Saturday. So if we don't go to Bodhiyana, we chant in English. We chant our chanting. We chant in English. Then Saturday we chant in Pali. Dear Ajahn, you mentioned this morning about setting goals for meditation. What are some of the good goals to set so that we can move forward in the meditation practice? Okay. So good goals, that means you start with small step, then you start with present moment awareness. First step. So if you be able to stay present, then the second step, that make sure that you don't, no commentary, that it's a silent present moment awareness. This is a small step. If you be able to do that, if you be able to really stay in present moment, your mindfulness will be really good. Because it seems like very easy, isn't it? But also very difficult. It seems like very simple, but quite not easy, isn't it? How many people really stay with what they're doing? The mind already all over the place, isn't it? Doing dishes and then daydreaming, thinking of all sorts of other things. But then to be able to really stay present, that is really a big step. If you're able to do that, and then when you sit in meditation, it's easy to focus, it's easy to stay. And so set your goal. First of all, you set your goal, okay, from today onwards, I put into practice, throughout the first thing, get up in the morning, that you commit yourself that you're going to do that. So practice present moment awareness throughout. Whatever you do, whether you're going to work or you're shower, whatever, throughout. I can guarantee you, if you be able to do that, consistently and continuously, your mindfulness will be very strong. So take that as a first step, okay?
So Ajahn, could I just raise a point on that, please? So I was doing a walking meditation this afternoon, going back, and I could view into the hall here. And as I'm walking towards the hall, I could see the Anagarika arrive. And I thought, there's the Anagarika arriving. So that doesn't meet the requirements of the present moment awareness, does it? Because
that is already thinking. But if you don't have the commentary, you just said that, you just know, and that's it, and then you continue. Then that you're still present. But the moment you say, the moment in the speech, that is already thinking. Can you please turn the heater down a bit? So who is look after the heater? Okay. Dear Ajahn Hasapanna, if after a long time of practice, the unconfinable mind, still as well as ever. What I do, and is there any hope of getting into deep state of mind, please? Okay. There's like practice, develop gratitude contentment. It's always good enough. Even though I can't go deep, at least I can meditate. At least I have because sometimes that because of you wanting so much, you want to get deep. Actually, it become a big stumbling block. It stop you. It's good to have that aim to get into deep state. But then if you keep wanting to get into deep state, then you will never get it. That's why learn to develop more gratitude, and gratitude leads to contentment. Content is good enough. I be able to sit, it's good enough. And sometimes you sit down, thank you, breath, thank you giving me life. I'm really appreciative. Become more appreciative. Develop more appreciation towards yourself. That is also help. Because sometimes we are not satisfied. We keep wanting. The more you want it, it's very difficult. So that's why That's why it's good to develop contentment. It's good enough. Or even just, I be able to sit for a little while, it's good enough. Because if you keep thinking of you want to get into deep state, it comes naturally. That's why you have to put in the causes and conditions. Like for example, you have to check how your morality, maybe you have to restrain much more, restrain much more your senses, and that's help. To strengthen your mindfulness, because mindfulness is weak, it's very difficult to go deep. And keeping precepts, virtue in itself also help to strengthen your mind, to develop your mindfulness through keeping precepts. So when we keep precepts, we become more aware of our speech, our bodily action, our thoughts, because we want to harm others. Then it's help to develop mindfulness. You see, that's why it's important. So that's why sometimes it can't go deep also because the quality is not there. The other qualities is not there. So you have to have the other qualities. So it's always this is the whole spiritual path that is a Noble Four path. You have to develop the whole path of practice. It's not only meditation. It's just meditation, it doesn't work. So you have to, first of all, you have to have the right understanding of that's the whole path of practice. And then when you have the right understanding, you have right intention thinking of, renunciation, thinking of renunciation, thinking of letting go of harming, letting go of violence, and being generous, practice generosity. You have all these, and then, our speech, right speech, and then right actions, not doing something that harmful. Right speech that is you have to fulfill 5 conditions. Whatever we said, not only not telling lies, but we said that it must be true. It's the right time, right place. Have to be kind. Come from a kind place. It have to be beneficial, and then it have to be the words that you choose have to be pleasing to the ears with gentleness. And to fulfill 5 conditions, then it's right speech. If doesn't fulfill, then it's not right speech. And then if you have all this, you have right action, right speech, livelihood. That is also the job that you do. That that if your job that you're helping so many people, and that is also part of the whole path of practice. And then the right energy, the right effort, and then mindfulness, stillness, it's all come to, meditation is the mindfulness and stillness together, Then when you have the clarity, when you, after deep state of, meditation, you come out, you contemplate, and then that is where the you have the enough clarity, you'll be able to see things as they truly are. That is a part of, there is a wisdom. So that's why you can see the whole path of practice. You have to have a bit of understanding. There's a right understanding there. Because you have to have a bit of right understanding in order to practice the path. Because that's why you can see that, in beginning is wisdom, also end with wisdom. So of course, the beginning you have to have a little bit of wisdom, little bit of insight. Like the Buddha said, you need to have a small insight in order to accomplish big insight. So that's why like this morning I already said, like, if it's not working, you have to check where is the obstacles, where is the obstacles, and where we need to strengthen. And it's just like the whole path of practice is just like you're making a cake. You have all the ingredients, but if you don't have enough, you don't have the right ingredients. Maybe you try to make cake and then you have all other ingredients. Or the only most important one, you don't have flour, and flour. Then or no sugar. Then you can't make cake, or no eggs or whatever. So because you have to check what are the ingredients you still need. So you have to check. So that's why you have to take up the whole path of practice. So you have to develop other quality as well. It's not only just meditation. Dear Ajahn, thank you for your Dharma talks. I have breast cancer. Stage 3, 4 years ago at age 40, it was a huge shock to me and my family. I truly get the sentiment of being grateful to be alive every day. So do my husband and kids for still having me in their life. And the one thing I struggle with is I have lost trust in my body since my journey with cancer. Do you have any Buddhist wisdom or mindfulness practice that will help me rebuild faith in my body and believe in its healthy and healing abilities again? And actually, that is useful that I just mentioned about the sending loving kindness towards your body, because it's helped to heal. Because when when loving kindness itself, you open up yourself. So when you send loving kindness to your body, you open up your body. It's okay. Because sometimes when we have worries, when we have lost, we worry so much about whether I'm going to heal or what, that worry itself is also affect our immune system, and then our body will not take, don't heal better. When you're happy, when you're happy, and then you have lots of loving kindness, it's healed better, because opposite rejection is acceptance. Acceptance is also loving kindness. Accepting your body, it's okay. My body is not perfect. It's fine. I still love you as you are. So give lots of loving kindness towards your body, even though yes, I still love you, even though you're not perfect, but I still love you. I love you as you are. Then give more, then actually it will help. Yeah. My goodness, are you enlightened? How did you know you are? Do you know it's one of our rules that we are not supposed to declare, that even you have enlightened, you can't declare. So those who said they're enlightened, they're definitely not enlightened. Actually, when someone enlightened, you're even more humble. Like during Buddha's time, even people don't even know Buddha's in front of them. he's so ordinary, like he's so humble because he don't have the sense of self. And many times some lay people or some monks, they met Buddhas, they didn't even know the Buddha in front of them, but sometimes, that if you can tell it, I remember Chi Kuan Sunim, her master told her, so if you can let people know that if you are enlightened, you have to spend your whole life to prove it. You have to spend your whole life to prove it that you are enlightened. I recently moved from Dhammasara to Bodhiyana for further practice. Well, Dhammasara felt physically comfortable and emotional settled. At Bodhiyana, I find myself that I'm feeling a moment of physical discomfort, such as the room is cold and detached bathroom. While I feel truly grateful to be here, I see how these mental patterns persist even in supportive conditions, and how can I meet these reactions with wisdom as I settle in. So at least you notice that it's also good enough, and then just develop more gratitude and contentment. So wherever you are is good enough. It's a good place of practice where mind feels calm or where deeper emotions arise to be seen. I think if it's too personal, please answer only two. It's a good place of practice where the mind feels. The Buddha said that sometimes like the place that you practice is like for the encouragement, for the advice or the Buddhas, they said that if a place if you got lots of support, but then if you have no even lots of support, but if you don't have even the environment is peaceful, calm, but then if your wholesome state of mind decrease, unwholesome state of mind increase, that is not the place for you. It's not suitable. So they said this is how you have to see your wholesome state of mind increase or unwholesome state of mind increase. And this is where, even though lots of support, but even sometimes place is very peaceful also, you may not, the practice may not really, of course sometimes you go through stages of, sometimes, of course sometimes you go through difficulties, but this is normal. But then the Buddha said that, if your wholesome state of mind, like just continuously like going, you're getting more agitated, more irritated, and then you really have to consider whether this is a suitable place to practice, even though you have lots of support, even though it's really comfortable. But sometimes we also don't self-torture, not self-modify, But for example, like now, when I was young, I be able to, like just even, the place that is really, no matter how harsh, I can do it. But as I grow older, my body can't do it anymore. Then you just have to, one of the monks, the Vimala, Yana Vimala, that is a German monk in Sri Lanka. He never stay in one place. He keep walking, and very inspiring. He will sometimes only sleep under the tree, the root of a tree, and then only the last few years he died in quite, I think in his. You remember it's 1980, I forgot. Then only he can't do that because his leg was really swollen. He can't do it, But then, but make sure that you not come from the place that, sometimes the self-modification, doing all this ascetic practices come from the sense of self, the ego. I'm tough. I'll be able to do it. Some people do like some people do those ascetic practice, like I've seen last time Ajahn Hasapanna told me that he's seen someone did that. the way he do the ascetic practice is like they pour all the food, everything in the bowl, and then he will pour water in, and he and then he eat. That he got lots of anger. He forced himself to eat. It's not this way, Like Ajahn Chah said, to practice patience doesn't mean that you have to go purposely look for trouble, go to the heater, go to the side, or you turn on the heater, so that be patient with the heat. It's not like that, It's just you don't asking for trouble, asking for, and that's why sometimes that's why when Buddha's enlightened, the first teaching the Buddha gave is middle way. When he tried too hard, because when you're too hard also, actually our body do need a certain, a basic comfort to do the practice. We can't torture our body too much. Then you cannot, it's too difficult, you can't meditate. And then different people, they just have body, the body, people, some people, they can't, they have, for them, the body is not so strong enough to be able to do the practice. So yeah, that's why our guest room, we give people at least some basic, comfort to be able to practice. It's too tough. It's also difficult. If it's so much physical suffering, it's difficult to practice, isn't it? You have constantly your back pain, your knee pain, your neck pain, and then how to sit and meditate. You can't even focus. So like a middle way, like the Buddha said, middle way. Please, could you talk about what is it? Forgiveness or care? Self-forgiveness. How do you practice okay? Forgiveness. So sometimes a lot of people, I just give you an example. I have one of my relatives. She been abused by her husband, and then she divorced. But then, of course, for many years of abuse. She been abused by her husband. Of course, she have lots of anger, aversion towards her ex-husband. But she knows that this is really no good for her, because holding on to that, is actually, she caused more harm to herself than she told me that she want to forgive and she want to let go. And then she tried to practice loving kindness. She tried to send loving kindness to her ex-husband. Cannot. Very difficult, she said. Because the moment that she think of him, all those horrible things they have done, it did to her, that it all comes out. She said, I can't do it. She said, it's difficult. Then I told her, I said, you don't have to send loving kindness towards your husband, your ex-husband. You don't even have to force yourself to forgive him. You don't have to if you're not ready. But you send loving kindness towards yourself. May I have loving kindness towards my ex-husband. May I be able to forgive him. Then she said, this way is more doable. It's more doable. I said, you can, send loving kindness towards yourself. Forgive yourself for not able to forgive. I remember there was a lady, and she's going through a separation, and she come and tell me that, things that really bother me is that, my partner, I think he don't love me enough. If he loved me enough, he should be able to forgive me even I've done something wrong. Because she had an affair with another guy, and then we have another, and then she got upset because he think that he can't forgive her because he doesn't, he don't love me enough. If he really love me enough, he should, be able to forgive me. Yes, I have done this, I know that it's not right, and things like that. Then I look at her, I said, why don't you forgive him for not able to forgive you, And very easy, we impose on others, isn't it? It's so, you cannot force yourself, isn't it? Maybe we don't know, maybe her partner also trying his best to try to forgive, but you can't, yes, everybody theoretically, we all understand, let go, isn't it? Easy said and done, but doing it is difficult, isn't it? Everybody can say let go, everybody say forgive. You cannot forgive, It's okay. And if you cannot forgive, you send loving kindness towards yourself. If you can't forgive yourself, you send loving kindness to yourself. May send yourself like really sincerely wish yourself that may I be able to forgive myself. You really mean it. Sending good wishes to yourself is fine. May I be able to forgive myself. May I be able to forgive, may I be able to let that go. If you can't let go, it's fine. It's not that we should be able to let go. We can't let go. We're just being honest about that. Yeah, I can't let go. At this moment, I'm still not that level yet. I can't let go. But then we just being honest about that, honest about how we feel. And yes, to accept who we are, to accept how we feel. Yes, this now I'm unable to forgive. It's fine. So, but you can always send loving kindness to yourself. May I be able to forgive. May I be able to forgive myself. I remember there was a lady, and she's going to this dancing class, Dancing class, they have the dancing partner. So she was like, she got a partner that the other guy, Then she told me that when she was dancing with this guy, and he told this guy that, oh yeah, so you dance so beautifully, you're flirting around. You're flirting around. And the next day, the guy didn't talk to him, don't want to dance with, don't want to be her dancing partner. Then I told her, and I said, flirting around is not a good word. Especially you don't tell a man that you flirt around, you're flirting around, Then she realized that, and then she apologized, she said, sorry that, But then she came back to me, she said, even though I already apologized, saying that, I'm sorry that, ask for forgiveness. And then he still don't want to forgive me. And then she was really bothered because this guy refused to forgive her. Then I told her, I said, it's okay. I said, why? And I said to her, why he has to forgive you? I said, you did your part. You ask for forgiveness. If he chooses not to forgive you, it's his problem. It's not your problem. I said, you did your part. If he chooses not to forgive you, it's his problem and not your problem. I said, let him be. So forgive him for not able to forgive you. Because sometimes we do our part. What can we do? We cannot force the other person to forgive us, isn't it? But at least we know that I said, you did your part. You asked for forgiveness. Sorry, I said something that actually she really didn't mean it. Because she didn't really understand the meaning. She said something that is, upset this guy, and then said this guy never want to talk to her anymore, and refused to forgive her, don't talk to her, and then she was a bit upset, Then I said, it's okay. I said. Okay. Dear Ajahn, very grateful for your teaching. Will you be able to do metta chant a little slower? I'm struggling to keep up. Also trying to connect with the words. Thank you, with much gratitude. Okay, I'm going to. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness. Slow enough? Still faster? Then really have to be slow motionism. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Okay. After joy arises, nimitta appears, but the light is shy, doesn't last long. What might be the reason? Thank you. Because, is the nimitta, actually the mindfulness is not strong enough. That's why the nimitta, like for example, when it's flicking, that means it's still not stable. So not stable, actually go back to your breath. Because when the nimitta is really bright, actually you almost are so bright until you get sucked into that. But this is like the flicking or the up. Because sometimes you know why people, nimitta come very excited, and then the people try to hold on, then it goes, So just okay, come out. If it's not stable, go back to your breath. So develop more, more joy and more happiness, then the mindfulness is not strong enough. And okay. Close to 8 o'clock, okay. So any more questions or comments? So today, one more question only, okay? Okay. All happy customers, okay, no. Okay. So good night. So yes, I had that before I cough. That's why I didn't cough. The honey with the turmeric.